The massive alien ships appeared on a quiet Tuesday morning. They came without warning, filling Earth's skies with their dark, metallic forms that stretched for kilometers across the atmosphere. Traffic stopped. Children pointed upward from school playgrounds. News channels worldwide interrupted their regular broadcasts. Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Council stared at the main screen of the Singapore Command Center, her hands gripping the edge of the control panel. 57 alien vessels, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built, hung in perfect formation above Earth's major cities. "Ma'am," Lieutenant Park's voice shook slightly as he read from his terminal. "We're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel. They're calling themselves the Arconian Empire." The main screen flickered, and a tall, gray-skinned figure appeared. Its 4 eyes blinked in sequence, and when it spoke, its words were translated into every Earth language simultaneously. "People of Earth," the alien's voice was cold and precise. "I am High Commander Zextal of the Arconian Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration into our collective. You have 72 of your hours to surrender your military forces and accept our guidance. Resistance would be—" The alien's upper eyes narrowed, inadvisable. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. Admiral Chen looked at the tactical display showing Earth's combined space fleet. Just 23 warships, most of them barely tested in real combat conditions. "Get me the Defense Council," she ordered. "And someone wake up the president." The next 48 hours passed in a blur of emergency meetings, failed diplomatic attempts, and increasingly desperate strategic planning sessions. The Arconians refused all communication except to repeat their deadline. Analysis of their ships revealed technology far beyond Earth's capabilities. Their weapons could reduce cities to ash in seconds. Their shields could withstand anything in humanity's arsenal. But what troubled Admiral Chen most was their battle formation. It was perfect, mathematically precise, without a single weak point. "Their tactical eye has never lost a battle," reported Intelligence Officer Rodriguez, scrolling through the data they'd managed to intercept. 10,000 years of warfare, and not a single defeat. It calculates every possible move and countermove. No one has ever found a way to outsmart it. Admiral Chen was about to respond when she noticed something strange on one of the junior officers' screens. The young woman was hastily trying to close a window. Something colorful, with spaceships. "Lieutenant Zhang," Chen called out. "What was that?" The lieutenant blushed. "I'm sorry, Admiral. It's just their formation. It reminded me of something from Star Command. The game my daughter plays." "The video game." Chen frowned. "Show me." Lieutenant Zhang pulled up the game screen again. The Admiral's eyes widened as she looked at the virtual space battle taking place. The enemy ships in the game were arranged in a pattern that was eerily familiar. "Get me everything you can find about this game," she ordered, "and find out who designed it." As she watched the virtual ships maneuver on screen, a crazy thought began to form in her mind. Maybe humanity's best chance wasn't in their weapons or their trained military strategists. Maybe it was in something the Arconians would never expect. The imagination of a child who saw war as nothing more than a game. Time was running out. They had less than 24 hours left to find a way to save Earth, and their best hope might just lie in the hands of someone who had never set foot in a real spaceship. Lucy Chen was having a normal day at school when they came to find her. She was sitting in the back of her math class, secretly playing Star Command on her tablet under the desk. While her teacher talked about fractions, Lucy was commanding a fleet of virtual ships against the game's hardest-eye opponent. She didn't look up when the classroom door opened. She was too focused on executing her favorite strategy, something she called the Dragon's Tail. It involved splitting her fleet into smaller groups that looked weak and scattered, but would suddenly come together to trap the enemy. None of her friends could understand how it worked, but Lucy had never lost with it. "Lucy Chen," a deep voice called out. She looked up to find two people in military uniforms standing at her desk. One of them was a tall woman with commander's stripes. Lucy recognized the rank from Star Command. The other was her mother, Lieutenant Zhang, looking worried but proud. "Am I in trouble?" Lucy asked, quickly trying to hide her tablet. Admiral Sarah Chen, no relation to Lucy, despite sharing the same last name, smiled gently. "No, Lucy. Actually, we need your help. Would you come with us?" 20 minutes later, Lucy sat in a military car, watching Singapore's buildings flash by. Her mother explained that they were going to the command center, but couldn't tell her why. Lucy noticed they were driving very fast, and there were more military vehicles on the streets than usual. At the command center, Lucy's eyes went wide. The main control room looked just like the command bridge from Star Command, but bigger and real. Screens covered the walls, showing the alien ships that everyone had been talking about at school. "Lucy," Admiral Chen said, pointing to the largest screen, "what does that formation remind you of?" Lucy studied the alien ships for a moment. "Oh, that's the Imperial Fortress formation from Star Command Level 87. But they're doing it wrong. See how their backup units are too close to the main fleet? That's why I always beat it." The adults in the room looked at each other with surprise. Admiral Chen pulled up another image. "What about this one?" "That's the Pyramid Defense from Level 92, Lucy said without hesitation. "It looks strong, but it's actually really easy to break if you attack it from multiple angles at once." For the next hour, Lucy identified every Arconian formation they showed her. She explained how she had beaten similar patterns in the game hundreds of times. The military officers took notes frantically as she talked about weak points that their best analysts had missed. "There's something you need to know, Lucy," Admiral Chen finally said, kneeling down to meet her eyes. "Star Command isn't just a game. The developer based it on real alien battle data without knowing it. Every strategy you've mastered, every formation you've learned to beat, they're all real." Lucy looked at the alien ships on the screen again, then at her tablet still showing her paused game. "Is that why you brought me here? To help fight them?" Her mother stepped forward, tears in her eyes. "Only if you want to, honey. But right now, you might understand their tactics better than anyone else on Earth." Lucy thought about all her friends at school, about her little brother who was probably wondering why she wasn't home yet. She thought about how playing Star Command had always made her feel smart and strong, even when other kids made fun of her for gaming too much. She stood up straighter and looked at Admiral Chen. "Can I use my dragon's tail strategy? The real aliens won't expect it either." The Admiral smiled. "Show us everything you've got, Lucy. Earth is counting on you." The command center buzzed with activity as technicians worked frantically to connect Lucy's gaming console to the fleet control systems. They had less than 2 hours before the Arconians' deadline, and not everyone was happy about putting Earth's fate in the hands of a 12-year-old girl. "This is insanity," General Roberts shouted, his face red with anger. "We can't let a child play with our real ships like they're toys." Admiral Chen stood firm. "That child has beaten these exact battle formations over 1,000 times. Our best strategies have a 12% chance of survival. Lucy's game records show she has an 89% win rate against these patterns." While the adults argued, Lucy sat quietly in a special chair they had set up for her. It looked like her gaming chair at home, but with many more screens around it. Her mother had brought her favorite snacks, chocolate milk and cheese crackers, and her lucky Star Command cap. "Lucy," a technician said, handing her a familiar controller. "This will feel just like your game at home, but the graphics will be much better. Are you ready?" Lucy nodded, pulling her cap down tight. She had already explained to Admiral Chen exactly how she planned to fight the aliens. At first, they didn't believe her strategy would work. It broke almost every rule of space combat they knew. But after she showed them replays of her games, they agreed to try it. "Arconian fleet is moving," someone shouted. "They're taking attack positions." Admiral Chen's voice came over the speakers. "All ships, This is command. From this point forward, you will follow tactical directions exactly as they come. No questions, no hesitation. The fate of Earth depends on perfect execution. Operation Playground is now active. Lucy took a deep breath and gripped her controller. The screens around her lit up, showing Earth's 23 ships facing the massive Arconian fleet. It looked just like level 99 of Star Command, the hardest level in the game. Begin, Admiral Chen ordered. Lucy's fingers flew over the controller. Earth's ships suddenly scattered in what looked like panic. The Arconian fleet moved forward in their perfect formation, probably thinking the humans were retreating in fear. "They're taking the bait," Lucy whispered, smiling slightly. This was her favorite part in the game, making the enemy think they were winning. The Arconian ships pressed forward, their formation spreading out to chase Earth's scattered fleet. In the command center, military officers watched in confusion as Lucy seemed to be giving up every tactical advantage. But Lucy wasn't retreating. She was weaving a trap. "Now," she called out, executing her dragon's tail strategy. Earth's ships suddenly stopped running. They turned sharply, moving in ways that looked chaotic, but were actually perfectly planned. Small groups of ships appeared to fly straight into danger, only to pull away at the last second, drawing the Arconians further out of position. The alien fleet's perfect formation began to break apart as they tried to adapt to movement patterns their tactical AI insisted were illogical. They couldn't predict what Lucy would do because she wasn't following any traditional military strategy. She was playing like a child who had never learned what was supposed to be impossible. "Look," Lieutenant Park pointed at the main screen. The scattered Earth ships were rapidly moving into new positions. The random-looking movements had actually been pushing the Arconian ships exactly where Lucy wanted them. Admiral Chen watched in amazement as she realized what was about to happen. Earth's fleet had somehow gotten behind and around the Arconian forces. The aliens were now caught in the curve of the dragon's tail, about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous opponent is the one who doesn't know they're not supposed to win. On the Arconian flagship, High Commander Zextal watched in growing confusion as the human fleet moved in ways that made no sense. His tactical AI was showing error messages for the first time in his long career. "Impossible," he muttered, his four eyes blinking rapidly. "Their ships should be easy targets. Why can't we hit them?" The answer was simple. Lucy was treating damaged ships like bonus power-ups in her game. In Star Command, damaged ships moved slower but could still be useful as distractions. Now she was using Earth's injured vessels as bait, letting them drift just within range of the Arconian weapons, then pulling them away at the last second. "Admiral," Lucy said calmly, sipping her chocolate milk between commands, "can the blue ships on the left go a bit faster? I want to try something I discovered in level 63. The traditional military commanders watched in amazement as Lucy split Earth's fleet into 3 groups, a move that violated every rule of space combat they knew. But instead of being picked off easily as their training would suggest, the smaller groups began an intricate dance around the Arconian forces. "Warning," the Arconian Eye announced on their bridge. "Human tactics do not match any known battle patterns." Unable to predict next movement, Lucy's strategy was working perfectly. Just like in her game, the aliens couldn't handle someone who didn't play by the rules. When their ships fired at one group, it would dodge in an unexpected direction, causing them to hit their own vessels instead. When they tried to surround a seemingly weak target, it would lead them straight into a trap. "Look at their formation now," Lieutenant Park exclaimed. The once perfect Arconian fleet was scattered across space, their ships turning in circles as they tried to target the constantly moving Earth vessels. In the command chair, Lucy was completely focused on her screens. To her, this wasn't about war or survival. It was about using every trick she'd learned from thousands of hours of gameplay. She used tactics that seemed silly to the military experts, but worked brilliantly. Hiding ships behind each other like in hide and seek, making fake attacks to distract the enemy, and even letting some ships drift with their engines off as if they were defeated, only to power up again at just the right moment. "This is madness," High Commander Zextal shouted as another of his ships reported heavy damage. "Their strategy defies all logic. How can they be winning?" The answer sat in her special chair in the Singapore Command Center, her lucky cap slightly crooked, her fingers dancing over the controller as she executed moves she had practiced countless times in her bedroom. Lucy didn't care about logic or traditional tactics. She cared about having fun and winning the game. "Got you," she said excitedly as her trap finally closed. The scattered Earth ships suddenly moved in perfect coordination, each group attacking from a different direction. The Arconian fleet, which had spread itself thin trying to chase Lucy's quick-moving ships, now found itself surrounded. Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with tears in her eyes. The most powerful space fleet in known history was being defeated by a little girl who had never learned that she wasn't supposed to be able to beat them. "Would anyone like some cheese crackers?" Lucy asked, not taking her eyes off the screen as she continued to dismantle the alien fleet. "I always share my snacks when I'm winning." High Commander Zextal stood before his broken tactical display, watching as his mighty fleet fell into chaos. More than half of his ships were damaged or trapped, and the rest were desperately trying to escape the human fleet's impossible maneuvers. "Enough," he finally said, his voice heavy with defeat. "Send the surrender signal. The Arconian Empire withdraws from Earth." In the Singapore Command Center, cheers erupted as the alien fleet began to retreat. Military officers hugged each other, technicians jumped up and down, and Admiral Chen finally allowed herself to breathe normally again. Lucy looked up from her controller, confused by all the celebration. Did I win? Was that the last level? The room fell silent. Admiral Chen knelt beside Lucy's chair, taking a deep breath. It was time to tell her the truth. "Lucy," she said gently, "this wasn't just a game. Those were real alien ships you were fighting. You just saved Earth." Lucy's eyes went wide as she looked at the main screen, then back at her controller. "You mean, those were real explosions, real ships?" Her mother rushed forward, worried about how her daughter would handle this news. But before anyone could comfort her, Lucy asked a question that surprised them all. "Did anybody get hurt?" Admiral Chen checked the battle reports quickly. "No, Lucy. Your strategy disabled their ships without destroying them. Even the damaged vessels were able to retreat safely. You didn't just win. You won without taking a single life." Lucy smiled brightly. "That's how I always play. In Star Command, you get extra points for capturing ships instead of blowing them up. It's more fun that way." The next few days were very busy. The Arconian Empire, embarrassed by their defeat, signed a peace treaty with Earth. They couldn't understand how their perfect military machine had been beaten by what they called childish tactics. Lucy became a hero, though her parents made sure she stayed in school and didn't let the attention go to her head. She still played Star Command every day, but now she had a special advisor title at the Earth Defense Council. 1 month after the battle, the Arconians made an unusual request. They wanted to know how Lucy had defeated them. "It's easy," Lucy explained during a video call with the alien commanders. "You guys always follow the same patterns because that's what your computers tell you to do. But the best part of games is trying new things and being creative. Want me to teach you?" And that's how Star Command became required training for every Arconian military officer. Their mighty empire had learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes the best strategic mind isn't the one with the most experience or the most powerful computer. Sometimes it's the one that still knows how to play. 6 months later, Lucy sat in her room, playing Star Command online against some new friends, young Arconian players who were learning to think outside their rigid military training. "Lucy," her mother called from downstairs, "don't stay up too late. You have school tomorrow." "Just one more game, Mom." Lucy called back, grinning as she recognized the names of her opponents, the children of the same alien commanders she had defeated. I'm teaching the Arconian kids how to do the dragon's tail. On her bedroom wall hung 2 items, her lucky star comment cap and a medal from Earth's governments declaring her humanity's most unexpected hero. Lucy liked the cap better. After all, it had helped her win the biggest game of her life.